let's start at the very beginning. Like, where did this idea come from? Because this is basically your life. Spoiler alert, right?
Yeah, and correct. And I attended a school based very much on the real place where all this happened, and it was exactly through my eyes on the first day. And I think at the moment I left that school, I said, one day I'm going to make this into a movie or a show or something like that. And held on to that idea for 12 years and just didn't know the right way to tell it, but finally, found the right words. And
And what's the hope with it? Because I definitely took something away from it. What's the hope for sharing your story with everybody?
So when we shot it, we said this will be a proof of concept type. We left it very much where the only hope was that everyone would want to say, okay, what happens next, kind of. And I think we're getting that sort of reaction. So we have it structured currently as a limited series. It's definitely
awesome.
It's a tough, it's a
tough watch.
There's happy moments that come later, but I know it's a tough watch. So we wanted to just, we knew a film might be a little too compacted. So we knew a limited series was kind of the perfect arc for this, that we have structured and ready to rock.
That's awesome. Well, and then as director, like picking up someone's real story, what kind of responsibility is that?
It's daunting. I mean, I think Joe and I had known each other for 6 years before coming to this project, and I had no idea that this was part of his history until he shared the script with me and asked me if I'd be interested in talking about it. And I was really amazed that, we have all these great memories from those 6 years of like climbing mountains together and traveling and being on set together on a project. And I think a trust and a good relationship had started there, that when we jumped into this, because this happened so fast. I came on pretty much a month before we shot.
Wow.
And the shoot itself was 2-3 days.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Huh. So I'm very long days. I'm so thankful that we had that trust, that even on set, like I could look at Joe and see if we would just have eye contact and make sure that he felt that we were being respectful and while crafting this compelling story.
Right.
Because it was very important for all of us, with as much emotion as was going to be on set, to have a very, supportive, respectful set. The trust in the relationship and the shorthand that we had developed over the years, and then coming into the shoot was just couldn't have been better.
I think what I hear from that is 2 to 3 days from a production standpoint is very fast and wild, but from an acting perspective, maybe felt a little bit like a relief that you didn't have to sit so long with these characters. Was that the case for you, or?
Yeah, I think I was cast like 3 days or something before, or maybe like
he was the last person actually cast.
No kidding.
Sarah was with us from the beginning, but I guess
OG.
And so we got on really long phone calls, like right up before. Right, we're just I had no idea this existed. I really didn't. And he really delved deep into telling me every detail about his life, about the school, read articles, and during the shooting we really some of the scenes we even shot in the real places that he gets kidnapped from his bed in the real life, and we shot in the place he got kidnapped, and stuff like that is really true to home, and I wanted to do the man justice. So yeah.
If I'm doing the math right, that means that you could have talked to a friend on a Monday, and then by 3 Mondays later you've already experienced, learned, shot, and wrapped this project, which is kind of staggering when you see it and you know just how emotional it is.
Yeah. Right.
Because I was so there with your character, and I was like, there are people in the world that think that this is how to deal with other human beings that need someone to reach out and connect to them.
Tragic,
really awful.
Yeah, really awful. To your point, of course, I felt like I was surrounded by people I already knew. Joe and Kat had worked on a project with one of my very good friends who I worked on a project with almost 10 years ago. My best friend, Lexi, was playing Jessica, the one who rats me out.
Oh, God.
My best friend.
Can I just tell you a secret? While I'm watching this, I kept going, f***ing Jessica.
And they're best friends in real life. And it was this is so perfect.
I was like, this couldn't be more perfect.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I was so driven to violence almost watching this.
She really brought it home.
Because you know that person. I feel as kids, we all, even if it wasn't that horrific and public and traumatic, oh my God, you knew.
Absolutely.
Jessica. And The way that I become, I think, is when I have like these extreme emotional reactions. I sort of like step back for a second, and I'm like, why am I like that right now? Like, what is that?
Yeah.
What is that? What is that evoking in me? And I think maybe if nothing else, like I tried to feel some compassion for a character that I was really angry at, because I thought, like, how desperate.
Why are you this way? Why are you the way that you are?
What is she getting out of it, and how desperate is she to get out of this watchful eye of these horrible people?
Yes.
You know, and so it's like, well, what is Jessica going through? I'm looking forward to seeing that in the limited series, so I stop saying f***ing Jessica.
Yes, and you start going, oh, Jessica.
And you start saying that, like having compassion is, and that's the message of what I saw, is like, it's so much better to reach out to people through kindness.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think, we did get so incredibly lucky with our cast, and thinking about not only Jessica, but also Peggy,
Debbie.
Yeah, the staff
Debbie
member.
Campbell, who played Peggy, and Bob Gallagher, who played Mickey. I think it was really, in the script, they're horrible, kind of domineering. Our nurse Peggy is our nurse Ratchet, but at the same time, when Joe and I were first talking about the script, it's a question of like, how did these people get to where they are?
Exactly.
And the things that come out of good intentions, but just get so warped over the years, and so it was great to really work with them, because I think they can't just be caricatures of horrible staff members. They have to be people that are inflicting this.
Right.
And I think they did a really great job in such a small space. But at the same time, it's infuriating and nauseating and heartbreaking to watch them put
children.
The background
Yeah, they are
actors-
children.
Yeah.
And we
The background actors too, they just came in and had such an energy to them. They hadn't known much about the story, and they just
Nothing,
exerted.
First take, and we ran the whole thing, and I think they just stood up and
I
went,
think
"Oh
they
my
were
God."
probably concerned. They were
Yeah.
like,
Aw.
what
Yeah.
is
What
she
the-
going
here we
through?
go,
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah.
Like that horrible feeling, like, I'm not in a documentary, right? 'Cause,
Right,
like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is so
like a
real
sense of,
for
like,
these
needing to look
actors. It's
away.
that just radiates from
And it
this.
was so
Oh, that's
important, and they
kind.
were brilliant.
Amazing.
Yeah, they were awesome. They were very supportive and respectful, very respectful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about, like, with such a heavy topic and needing so many takes and having to go there so often, like, wow, that's a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah, it was, and even for me, I think the stuff with Sarah, I actually found myself just sitting next to Katrina and saying, like, just cut, please cut, kind of. Now, unfortunately for Andrew, I guess because I lived it, I went, no, lift him, like, rip him out of that, so it was quite an intense experience for me as well, but
You're reliving it again.
reliving it, yeah, and I felt it a lot, so I think it was a really insane 3 days, but also everyone from the start. I mean, we had such a good crew from the project. We worked together. We were able to bring some of our favorite crew members that we had worked with, and
Mitch.
shout out, yeah. So I mean, there was already such a level of respect, and these guys were just,
I saw it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So with such a quick shooting schedule, did you feel like you had to blow off steam afterwards at all, or were you like so focused? Both of you, what were your experiences like?
Great question.
Thank you. That's all I ask. Yeah,
I'm like trying to remember after.
because it's kind of a blur in such a short amount of time, I bet.
Certainly.
How long ago was it that you
How long
shot?
ago was it?
We shot in January of last year.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
That's
So over a year ago.
So over a year ago, and it's yesterday we all got together. A lot of the cast is out here for this, and the crew,
Cool.
and it,
Yeah.
like nothing, no time had
No
passed.
time had
and it
passed.
was like-
I really felt like you have to do something like that with like a group of people that are
Yeah.
good, cool, kind people. Like
safe.
safe
people.
Like Kat and Joe were such safe spaces for me. Obviously, like I talk a lot about like the body doesn't know the difference between acting and real life sometimes, and sometimes
Right.
you have to be like, hey, this is not happening to you. You're okay.
Yeah. Self-soothing techniques.
Yes, certainly.
Were helpful
I'm
as well.
a very anxious person to begin with, so I already
Same.
had those. I have those tools. I have the meditation tools, mindfulness tools. So I knew that I would be like coming out of it equipped to, just like put it aside.
So maybe there was after shooting, like you needed to do a few of those yourself instead of about like connecting with everyone or having a good time. It was more like, no, I need to soothe myself so I can keep
Yeah,
going.
they had like a little space for me that I could go and like
That's nice.
breathe and just
Watch,
exist.
like 7 seasons of The Office.
You get comfort watch.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. But, no.
Was that the same for you, Andrew? Like, did you feel like you kind of had to recharge after a day of this?
Yeah, I think when you play someone real, I think there's like, I don't know, there was like such a connection that I had to Joe in those 3 days. I hadn't known him before, and I don't know, it was like I was leaving a brother, like,
Yeah, I think we got exactly. Yeah.
yeah, and so
I love you, hugging you.
Right, yeah.
Where do you live, by the way?
yeah, no, literally.
You want to hang out this weekend? I'm in Boston. Okay.
Yeah. No, it was truly one of the most amazing and I working with Katrina was just next level as well, because I really felt like my experience was, I compare it to like being like pottery. I was getting the structure from Joe. I was getting that's the base of the pottery, and then Kat would come in with a little chisel and just help me
refine,
and then I got to react from wonderful actors just naturally. I was
Likewise.
just like, wow.
Likewise.
So I don't know if that even got close to answering your question.
It
but
did.
Yeah.
And I mean, what does it feel like to hear that about your actors having that experience?
I mean, it was so interesting to come into this, and like I said, we got so lucky with our whole cast, and everyone, I think, was so struck by Joe's script and Joe's story that they took it so seriously. So everyone was so prepared, which was really, I mean, it was amazing because we had the room to kind of play a little bit enough and kind of explore different arcs within the performance, but at the same
Yeah.
time, just trusting
Definitely.
them to really understand the character. It helped in that we had such a tight schedule,
Yeah.
but we were able to get
Certainly.
these incredible performances out of Sarah and Andrew and everyone. I almost called
Everyone.
Joe.
And long, really
I know.
long.
Actually, I keep doing that too. I'm like, it's Andrew. It's not Joe. That's Joe.
I know.
Well, instead I was
Change
calling
the
him
name.
Andrew Joe.
It's a compliment.
Andrew Joe.
But really,
Andrew.
all three, I'll say Lexi, Sarah, and Andrew, we all put in a lot of work to, being Sarah's in Los Angeles with Lexi and Andrew was in Massachusetts, but we would have these long calls and just talk about, and it was really interesting to actually be like, you didn't do the quick get to know you, it just jumped in and like,
Jumped
tell
in.
me everything, and then I think we all,
Yeah.
so it was a lot of a deep connection and a deep relationship, just jumping right
Real
into
quick.
it, and real quick time, yeah.
And so, a potential like limited series, you kind of have it laid out in your head. Is it ready to go, or is it a thing that's happening, or can you say?
I can say it's. I feel I think it's ready to go.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
So we.
I would agree.
Yeah, we have.
Yes.
We've just been essentially when we were finished shooting this proof of the pilot. I just got tasked immediately, and that was so great working with Kat that I trusted her to say, "Go make the best, visual aid, and I will start writing the rest." And we spent the last year. I mean, we have not dropped this for really a minute, and
Good.
thank God for her. As she just, all my delirious thoughts and ideas, and let's make this a musical. Now we get back in. Dial it back in right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Love that spirit.
Yeah.
Love that
At least
creativity.
one
We have
episode.
constant,
There are no bad ideas.
Exactly right.
So funny.
But
Yeah. Exactly.
However,
Let's come back
Yeah.
to the heart.
So we have a lot ready to go, and we're really excited to be out here and participate in the pitchathons here. I mean, there's
Yes.
just a lot of different things that we're pretty confident with what we have and when this will be told, not if. So yeah.
And so, I mean, like, Sarah, what's the hope? Like, when people see this, and when hopefully they're enjoying like this limited series, like, what's the hope for people out in the audience watching?
I think, well, as an actor, I think just telling stories that people find themselves in is always the goal, and I hope that when this gets released into the world, it finds its audience, and of course, everyday people, everyone, but ultimately people who have had those kinds of traumatic experiences. I hope it's catharsis and it's validating and just a way of saying, we see you and we got you. And yeah, I don't doubt that it's going to find its home, and I hope that we all get to be on that journey together, and I'm just so stoked to be here.
And I'm stoked you're here too, because I think that even people that are watching this could be led to that and to the show, and just to feeling not alone.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
that's one of the reasons that I like being here, because it's sharing this kind of stuff with people is like the best part of this job.
Absolutely.
That's why we do it.
Thank you for coming by.